Standing Stronger Podcast, Season 2, Episode 2. That's right, it keeps getting better, and welcome back to another episode of the Standing Stronger Podcast. My name's Shannon.
And I'm Little Shannon.
That's right, we have the same name, if you did not know.
They know.
Probably, this could be the first one they ever listened to.
Well, we have the same name.
Yes, all right, so let's get on with it today. Today we have a special episode planned for you, and we're going to talk about how to get over that overwhelm. Why does it matter? All of that good stuff. So stay tuned, stick around, because not only do you get to hear the fun, friendly banter, but we have some actual good content for you today. Right?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. So we are going to get into the podcast by starting off with what's been going on with you this week.
So this week we were together last week for the first time for season 2, so that was exciting. We had a lot of good feedback from our listeners, so I'm excited. They're excited that we're back, so that makes the encouragement come through. We love to hear that. Last week, going into this week, is our last week before school starts, so it's just preparing for the new routine of the fall, which I'm excited for. Jordan will be in 7th grade. Mackenzie starts VPK, which is crazy.
That is super crazy.
And I'm going to be a senior.
That's right. Senior for the second time.
I know. Is that an accomplishment?
I know. Well, I mean, if you would have went to college, it would have been for the third time.
Right. So it's one of those things. I coach cheerleading. So I started 4 years ago with the girls that were incoming freshmen, and they are graduating this year. So this is my senior year with them. So I'm excited to start my senior year. I love the start of the school year. I love routine, getting back into that as much as different challenges arise from it. You know, homework, everybody getting to bed on time, baths, stuff like that. But I look forward to the routine. I look forward to football season. So go Eagles.
That's right. So with me, a lot of exciting things have been going on. For one, if you're on the live stream, you can see we have fancy new microphones. These are the Shure SM7Bs, and the cool thing about these is Michael Jackson used this microphone to record Thriller. I forgot the name of the song.
This exact microphone?
Not
this was Michael Jackson's microphone?
This was not Michael Jackson's microphone, but
yes, it was.
He used this brand of microphone. So we're excited about that, and we've been setting it up. Hopefully it sounds better for you guys, and if not, let me know so I can return these and get my bazillion dollars back.
Yeah, they weren't $1 billion, but audio is important. We want our listeners to be able to hear us. So if you hear anything that you shouldn't be hearing, or it's too loud or not loud enough, let us know so we can, fix that.
All right, so as I can see, Shannon cannot talk and me do something on her computer at the same time. It kind of fries her brain.
Yeah, I want to know why you're touching my stuff.
So anyway, let's get into the meat of the matter this week.
Okay, so for us is why does it matter? We went through this past week, and like I just said, the schedule's changing. We strive to help our listeners feel as though they're not alone here. So we talk about the real things of the world. And this week for us, it's that, that overwhelming feeling that can overtake you when you're stressed out or in a situation, and why your attitude matters in that time.
Yeah. So this week has been a challenge, especially for my wife. And actually, this past, I would say 90 days have been a challenge for my wife, because our business is doing really well. And one of the great things about when your business is doing really well, you have a lot on your plate. So for me, I have always, for the past 10 years, over 10, holy crap, over 15 years of, developing and running my own businesses, I've always not had anything to do in terms of work. I've always had way too much work and way little time. So I've never had enough time in the day to get all the work that I needed to get done. So with my wife, she's never really truly experienced that. She's experienced we're busy, but she's never had to take on a role where it's like there's not enough time in the day to get everything done. And that's been stressing her out majorly, where that does not stress me out because I'm used to it. It's been so long in my life where I've had so much to do that I didn't have enough time that I never think of it anymore. It's just that's the way life is. It's a new thing for her. And man, it's been crippling for her. It's like she almost can't function in some instances because of the actual load that is on top of us. And I get it. I understand it. But I'm like, babe, this is how it's always been. And that load really isn't even on her. She's just realizing how heavy the load is on me. And that's stressing her out. And what I'm trying to explain to her is this is nothing new. This does not stress me out. I've always had way too much to do. You just did not see the work that I had to do. And that's the difference. When you're building a business, you're doing a bunch of things that people cannot see. There's no tangible result in those things. So people don't know what you're doing. You're just sitting there, to them. Like my mom used to say, I don't know what he does. He just plays on the computer.
Well, and I kind of want to back up.
Back up.
So it's
back it up.
One of those things where any mom or a woman in general, I feel, in my opinion, we do more in a day than men and dads do.
No, I totally 100% agree with the fact that
some of us, I can't speak for everybody. I don't want the hate comments to come below, but so my overwhelmingness comes from so many things going on in so many different areas. So for example, I'm a wife, I'm me, I'm little Shannon, I'm got to be who I am and take care of expectations that I want to have in a day, because we all know that gets super frustrating if you're always helping everybody else and not yourself. So of me, I'm a wife, I am a mom, I am a business owner, I am a cheerleading coach, I am a friend. And when the day just keeps going and you're like, I just want to accomplish this, and you can't because you got to go interfere with the match between your two kids, or a friend. I just want to reach out and have coffee with a friend, and I can't even do that because I'm overwhelmed with I don't have enough time, and time will end for me one day, and I don't want that to happen where I have a whole bunch of stuff just left out there and unaccomplished either. Does that make sense? So it gets overwhelming.
No, that does make sense. I think the difference is, and to your point, in our life, my wife, how she does everything she does in a day is beyond me, because she is I say it all the time. She's practically perfect. It's crazy. It makes me insane sometimes. It's just mess up something, please. But the point is I get what you're saying. The only difference is I've adapted to it. I'm used to it.
Right. And even for me in that, our roles are completely different in our business, because you are definitely the technical side of the knowledge, and I don't build websites. I'm trying to learn little things here and there to help. But when it comes to projects, I don't want to be the nag. I don't want to be that person, but I'm a much better time manager than you are. So for me, it's okay, these are the projects that we need to get done today. But then you get started on your projects, and then you're oh, it's the movie Up. And it's oh, squirrel, and that's you. And that's hard for someone like me that doesn't have that attention issue. I'm here, I'm focused, this is what I'm doing on. If I think it's something, I need to, right now I'm thinking, I think of 10 things, I can write them down and come back to them when I finish this one thing. So for me, again, I don't want to be the nag of like, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this.
Oh, and she always is. She's like, you need to do this, you need to do this. And I'm like,
And
listen,
you're like, no.
it will get done. Just chill out.
I know, but because that needs to be done today, because I have a whole nother list for you to do tomorrow.
Exactly. And one of the major problems is I'm still working in the business way too much. And I take on a lot of projects simply because I enjoy doing them and I like doing them and things like that. So there's times, and this is something I'm working on, is I need to learn how to step away from working in the business so I can work more on the business and grow the business. However, I think one of my fears is growing the business. So it's more comfortable for me working in the business so that I'm not out there working on the business. Does that make sense, or did I say a whole bunch of words that meant absolutely nothing?
Well, it makes sense to me because we talk about it all the time. So overwhelming feeling, but I have to be very careful when I get overwhelmed, because it seems like the first people that get the wrath of that overwhelming are my kids. And I don't like that, because I don't mind if I dish it out on you, because, we've been married for long enough. Like I accept you for you, you accept me for me, and we get over it.
Sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, can't wait to make up.
Oh, so I don't know why that grosses me out. Just don't know. It doesn't gross me out. I just don't know why you say things all the time like that. Anyways.
When I said make up, I just meant like high fives and
I know what you meant.
Lollipops.
So my kids definitely catch the wrath. I mean, I apologize more than, I don't know if you do that to your kids, but I do apologize to them because I don't want to see them frustrated. I try to teach Jordan especially. I mean, he's at the age that he truly knows how to let frustration out, not Mackenzie, but where if he's in a moment, I say, like, you need to step back and come back and we can reconversate. But if I find myself in that moment, I do go back to him and say, like, Jordan, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to take my frustrations out on you. I'm just overwhelmed with this. And and he's always accepting. He's a great kid, like, it's okay, Mom, I understand. But it's not okay, because after so many times of it, you're just like, oh, my mom's just an unhappy person. And I don't want to be an unhappy person. I'm not unhappy. Just get overwhelmed and my frustrations come out.
Right. And what is it like? I'm saying at least in the past 90 days, I'm like, babe, it's time to, whatever this is, to chill it out.
Well, yeah.
She's mad at me.
I can't. No, I have that. I also have a need to justify why I feel how I feel. And that's the moment that I'm in right now. So I feel like I need to justify. But most people, I feel like, can relate to that feeling, whether you're a business owner or not, whether you're just you're a mom, or you have a job and you're a mom, or you're a wife and you have a job, or whatever it is. But there's always projects on the plate that can take you to an overwhelming feeling. It's what your attitude is in that moment of how to release that overwhelmness. Yeah.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And she's right. One of the first things, and it's not just her, it's me, it's you, it's all of us. We take our frustrations out on the people that we're the closest to. So it's going to be your spouses, it's going to be your kids, it's going to be your best friends. We're not going to treat strangers the way we treat the people we love, which is crazy, because we should treat the people we love with the most respect and love. But most times that's just not how it works. When you're angry, when you're frustrated, when you're upset, when you're off kilter, the first person that gets it the most is the person that's the closest to you. So that's something we all need to work on, especially me. And I had a major issue with that for the longest time, is taking it out on her and taking it out on the kids. And that's still something I have to work on with Jordan, because it's so easy to take my frustrations out on Jordan.
Yeah. And for me, one of my biggest fears, and I don't have a lot of them, but one of my biggest fears is that my kids will one day say, my mom was not a happy person. And I don't want them to have that memory in their childhood, of my mom was always stressed out. My mom didn't stop to enjoy the time with us. Like even yesterday, I was getting overwhelmed. Like, okay, I'm trying to watch what you're teaching Faith in that moment of uploading podcast. I was trying to, I got to type out our notes for tomorrow. Just different things on my plate. And the kids just wanted to go ride their bike. Right. And I'm like, you got to wait. You got to wait.
Sometimes the kids have to wait.
No, but that's just I feel like I always make them wait.
Right. That's the problem. Here's the problem is, okay, so people that don't know, we own a business that helps doctors leverage technology and the internet to grow their practices. However, we work from our home. We are in our house right now. This is an office inside of our house. If you are at work at that time, the kids aren't going to come to work, come to your office and say, hey, Mom, I want to ride my bike. They're going to wait till you get home and you get off of work. And that's the difference is our kids have never known either. Well, they've known her. She had a regular job for a while, but they've never known really. Well, Mackenzie hasn't. Mackenzie's never known a parent with a regular job.
No, and that is true. But the problem, I had already walked away from work. I walked away from work. We ate dinner. I came back to work. And then was like, oh, you have to wait. You have to wait. But I then just told myself, like, stop. Right. Like, it's 20 minutes. Go outside. Let them ride their bikes. Come inside. Get ready. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it all worked out. But I feel like in those moments, you have to stop and say, let me examine this situation. What am I frustrated about right now? Because it was like, can I just finish this? Can I just finish this? But a 4-year-old doesn't get that. And I shouldn't expect a almost 13-year-old either, because he still desires our attention. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
No, that totally makes sense. And that's another issue of working at home is it never stops. And you have to learn how to shut it off. But yeah, it's tough, and it's just something that you have to put your eye on and make a target and try to correct that.
Yeah, even Jordan will ask us, is it hard to be a parent?
Hardest thing in the world.
Right. But again, like Jordan's such a great kid, but he still faces things that I have to face with him or go through things. It's tough. You want to make sure you're making the right decisions. Are you giving them enough attention? You don't want to give them too much attention. You don't want to buy too much for them, but do they have everything? Or do you want, you want to do more for your kids than maybe what you had growing up, or even just teach the morals and good values, but still like, let's enjoy life and do this or that. It's just, it's tough. It is tough.
Yeah. And well, the thing with Jordan too is, for the longest time, me and Shannon were going to write a book on how to be a fantastic parent, because we thought we were the best parents to ever walk on planet Earth. I'm like, we are good.
That you thought that.
However, what we realized is we just had a perfect kid. We had an amazing kid in Jordan. So it wasn't our parenting that did it. It was just the amazingness of our son that did it and made it easy. So what is my point? I have no clue. I just wanted to tell you about how awesome our son was.
Yeah.
All right.
And he is. He's great.
Next item on the list.
I know we talked a lot about really parenting and this, which was not what makes me overwhelmed. It's the whole picture of a day that can take you, whether you're having to get out the door to get to your job on time, and then you have to be there and take that and deal with either the community or people inside. And some people just love their jobs. I used to love my job. I was okay. Like,
now you hate it.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, maybe I need to go back to a 9-to-5 job. No, not really, because I love our freedom. But, everybody's life looks a little bit different, but we all are facing those same trials at the end of the day. But that's not who defines us. Those trials aren't what defines who we are. So how do we try to keep a good attitude in that overwhelming?
Well, when it comes to overwhelm, I look at it this way: what's the most important? Because anything we can get back. So not anything, we can get back money. Excuse me. We can get back money. We can get back things, possessions, stuff like that. What we cannot get back is time, and we cannot get back time with our children. So in terms of overwhelm, the way I look at it is where's my time best suited? Just like you, the podcast notes had to be done, the things had to be done. However, that could be done later. And that 20, 30 minutes that you spent with the kids outside riding their bikes could never be returned. So when it comes to things like that, I think that's where you need to focus your attention is on being in the moment and being present. Don't worry about what's happening tomorrow, what's happening the day after, and what's happening 30 minutes from now. Worry about what's going on right now and embrace it. Now, with that being said, yes, I say all the time, live today for a better tomorrow. You need to be aware of what you need to do to get done tomorrow. However, you also need to be aware that whatever is in the moment right now will never get back. You'll never have it again.
I agree. So, what helps you stay on track to not get overwhelmed?
Well,
how do you avoid it?
The biggest thing to stay on track for me is I married you.
Yes.
So I knew that I had issues.
Well, everyone can't marry me. Right. So what's the next tip?
No, the next tip is understand your weaknesses. For me, my weakness is schedule. My weakness is a to-do list. I would rather wake up with 0 on my schedule and navigate it as I go. And have the freedom to bounce from this to this to this to this. However, when you're running a business, that's very hard to do. And I mean, I've been fortunate as I built a business doing that, waking up in the morning and going, all right, what am I going to do and how am I going to do it? And I only did what I enjoyed doing. That's the only thing I enjoyed doing. However, what I learned was you need to do the things that suck as well. And in order to do the things that suck, they have to go on your calendar. They have to be planned. They have to be scheduled, because if you do not, like Brian Tracy says, if you don't eat the frog first, it never gets done.
What?
Yeah, Brian Tracy. If you got to eat a frog, you better eat. If you need to, the analogy is this: if you have to eat a frog, you better do that first, or you're never going to do it. You're just gonna sit there looking at it.
Why a frog?
I don't know. Probably because it's disgusting and slimy. No one wants to eat a frog, so why as well do it first?
Oh, got it.
You know what I mean?
I don't eat a frog.
That's right. The point isn't eat a frog. The point is do what sucks first, because if you don't do what sucks first, it never gets done. That's why people need to work out in the morning.
Right. Well, that works for us. That it might not work for everybody else.
Right. Well, I mean, it used to not work for me. Right. I used to love working out at night because working out was one of the funnest things I did, and I loved it. However, as I got old and fat and out of shape, working out sucked.
Yeah.
So it sucks. So you don't want to do it. So if you wait till the end of the day, you're tired and it sucks and everything else, and you just don't want to do it. So if you are not in the best shape of your life, and you love working out, and it's like the one thing you look forward to each and every day, don't wait to do it till the last thing you do, or you're not going to do it. Do it the first thing in the morning, because you got to eat the frog first.
Stop talking about eating frogs.
So yeah, to answer your question, how do I stay from getting overwhelmed and getting done what needs to be done? Number one is you put the things that suck first, and you put it on the schedule, because what is scheduled gets done. If it's not on the schedule, it doesn't get done. And that's something I've had to learn, and something she has helped me with, because she is a scheduled, let's put it down, map out the entire process, the plan, and everything that we're going to absolutely do each minute of the day type of person, where I'm not. But there's a lot of value in how she structures things.
And I just want to also say, I'm not a planner. Like, any of my friends will test you. I am like, hey, we're going out to dinner in like 20 minutes. Do you want to go? Like, I can't plan things. Like,
yeah, in terms of our personal lives, and even in business, she's not a outlook 90 days type of planner. However, she is a get up and plan the day out.
Like, I need to know what we're doing and who's going where, because there's a lot of lives involved in that. So it's like, I know boot camp starts at this time. I know it ends at this time, and I get to come home. But I know from this time to this time, Mackenzie has to be ready, and we have to be out the door to go to school. I know that. Like this morning, we were starting at 9:30, and you were like not happy that I was making breakfast because I was hungry. Sorry. But I entrusted that you had all of this set up. I don't do that. And so I said, well, why are we starting late? And you said,
because you made dinner late and I had to eat
breakfast
late and I had to eat breakfast. However, I was working on a different project.
Right. So for me, it was,
and what
you didn't need to do that project. I am talking in the microphone. Sorry. You're making me mad now. My blood pressure's, I'm getting hot.
I can see the red, little red right there.
No, for me, it was that time management was, you got up when I went to boot camp. I know you didn't work out.
I got up at 5:30.
You did not work out.
How do you know? Maybe I just didn't
No,
get
you
sweaty.
didn't. No. So you did not work out. And then I did go work out. I had to get Mackenzie to school and I had to eat because I hadn't eaten breakfast yet. And yes, we were scheduled to start at 9:30, but you chose to work on another project that could have been done after this. And we could have been completely mic'd up, ready to go when I came in at 7 or 9:27 and put on headphones and said, why aren't we mic'd up? Well, you made breakfast late.
That's because I was planning on setting all of this up while we were, like, instead of eating breakfast, I was going to be setting this stuff up.
But you had 3 hours for it to be done. So next week we'll be on time because he hates not being on time.
You guys want to see?
This is what we do. This is how we operate in business and in marriage. This is it. So for me, that is frustrating because that's time management. Like, we started late. Now it's 10:13 and we could have been done 15 minutes ago and we're just wrapping up. So with that being said, we'll take care of our issues off of camera.
And it's about to go down.
Do you remember this?
I do remember that. She secretly wants to punch me in the face right now.
That's what I have to do. I feel like Tom Hanks from A League of Their Own when he yells at the girl and doesn't say anything. And she gets it. Like, that's kind of like what I'm doing. So yeah. So what helps us stay on track? We exercise in the morning. That's a big release of stress completely. Not only are you taking care of your body, but you release all those endorphins and all that crazy stuff that I don't know enough to tell you, but I just know it works. So any type of workout, scheduling your task, it does work. So I guess what will help next week for accountability for even me is to say, hey, this time to this time, I need you to set up the podcast instead of like, what did you do this whole time and waiting for you? I need to be that manager. And time management on the schedule. Number 4 is that cutoff time from work. So for us owning our own business, but even for people that work at a job, sometimes it's hard for them to leave the office. Like I used to say, when I was working in a medical office, like when I walk in that door, everything on the outside has to stay on the outside because I'm there to do my job. And then whenever I leave that place, the job had to stay there. I couldn't bring it home because then it did nothing but interfere with my home life. So when you walk out the door, it has to stay that way. I know in some jobs you just can't do that, but try to find a way that you cut off that time. And if you need to go back to it later, but give that time to your family or yourself, whatever it is, to have a cutoff time to say, from this time to this time, this is what I got to focus on.
Yeah, it's extremely hard for me to stop working.
Yes, it is.
And especially
you're much
when
better
you love,
at it now.
Right. Especially when you love what you do. That's all you want to do is do
right.
that. So for me, that's an extremely hard one. I am much better at it. Actually, when we go on vacation now, I actually go on vacation. Where before I would bring my laptop with me and work while they were at the beach.
Right.
So they would go on vacation.
It's not vacation.
Right. And I'd be working up in the room on vacation.
And just the last thing I want to say, because this is big for you, it's not for me because I have no trouble in this area by the end of the day, but sleep. You know, they say like you should get how many hours of sleep?
8 hours of sleep.
8 hours of sleep. That might not, like,
7
to me,
whatever. You sleep
sometimes
9 hours a day
enough.
most of the time.
But for you, like 5 or 6 hours is enough. So I feel like everybody's body is a little bit different, but making sure when you have that cutoff time, you do separate yourself from the electronics or whatever's going to keep your mind stimulated in that moment. But just to kind of come get your downtime, lay down, go to sleep and actually sleep. And if you're doing those things during the day, like the exercise helps with sleep. So if you're actually getting up in the morning, like now, I'm back on my routine already this week. I know I'm getting up between 5:30 and 5:45. And so by 9:00, I am done. I'm moved on. I'm ready for, time for bed. I'm with Mackenzie showering, getting on my PJs. And that doesn't work for you because it's too early. But for me, that works. So you got to, find out your sleep schedule. But that is very important.
Yeah, because I tend to stay up till 3:00 in the morning working.
And I think my last tip would just be when you start to feel overwhelmed, take that step back, take a deep breath, release, and come back.
Sounds
That's
great.
my tip.
All right, good. I think that's been a good podcast. We're right at 30 minutes, so we need to wrap it up. I would end it with just saying, if you're overwhelmed, take a step back and realize what matters. So if exercising is what helps release your stress, to do that. If it's spending time with the kids, spend time with the kids. If it's spending time with your significant other, best friend, whatever it is, do that. Because when you're overwhelmed, it simply means that you're too focused on what's in the future. Because you can't be overwhelmed if you're focused just solely on what is right now. Now, the caveat of that is you got to live today for a better tomorrow. So you need to be focused on your future. However, you can't let your future and the unknown of the future overwhelm you. You simply have to do what you can do with the time that's allotted and make sure that the things that matter to you most are slotted in there.
Agreed.
Got it. So thanks. Have a fantastic day. And as always, hopefully we'll see you on the beaches of the world. Hold on, I forgot to say subscribe, like and subscribe, and all that good stuff. All right, thanks. Have a fantastic day.